Our next speaker, Stephen Scott, is a consultant child and adolescent psychiatrist at the Maudsley. He's a professor of child health at the King's College London. So he's a serious academic clinician. He's also chaired a guidelines committee at NICE on behavioural issues. So nobody better qualified, John Scott. Stephen Scott. Forgive me.
It's a good name, Stephen. Your Royal Highness, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great thrill to be here on something that is really recognising children's well-being. It's had a few echoes for me. I have a school report from when I was 10 saying Stephen will always be a B-class boy. So, now, click. Yes. So really I want to talk about now not what goes on in the school, but what goes on at home. What can parents do to make things better for children? What can we do to support children's? And that is something that the place to be is embracing as well. So, parents and child learning. First of all, genes do matter. Whether we like it or not, more intellectually able parents have, on average, more intellectually able children. It's funny, if I go to a Department for Education meeting about this, almost as though I've sort of let off in the room or something. People accept it for sport and for musical ability. Of course you can do lots, but it is a fact. However, and this happens if you're adopted away to a privileged background and all the rest of it, but the way parents relate to their children has a big effect as well. So being an academic, I feel comfort in some facts. Is this true or not? In 4-year-olds, that early on, a third of the difference in the cognitive attainment between high and low income families, and they have about a 13% difference, is due to the parenting style. The most important bit is just the everyday sensitive listening to and fro. In attachment terms, you call that mutuality, that little game of tennis, rather than just do that and shut up. And also, then secondary, having support around for learning. That means having books talking about classwork and that sort of thing. So now I want to show you what I mean. So here is a mother with her little boy, Darren. It is something we've dubbed into English, so sorry about the lip syncing. And she is playing. She's very keen that her boy learns. It's a tough world out there. We were hearing from everybody, achievement for all. You've got to achieve. You've got to really learn stuff. She's been told to have this special playtime by some sort of, old man like me. Have your special time. Play with your child. So here she is playing with her child. But what I want you to do, if you would, is count very simply the number of commands, do this, and the number of praises, well done, or a little hug. So let's see now. Hopefully we can hear that. Oh, sorry. Now, who's starting this?
In this case, it's not so much the pace of the activity that's the problem. It's that the ideas are simply too advanced for the child's age.
Take all the pieces out, Darren. Take all the pieces out like this and put them all over here on this side. That's it. All the pieces out. Let's play this game. Okay? No, let's not put them over our ears. They're not for putting over our ears, they're for a game. Let's take all the pieces out. Okay? You've got a few more to take. Fine. Now can we put this box over there? We don't want that in our way. Right here. Put it right there. There we are.
Here, the parent has a specific idea about the right way to play noughts and crosses, but the child is still exploring. What do you think will happen?
Now, dear, let's put the box away. We're going to learn how to play noughts and crosses.
Look,
noughts and crosses is right here. Right here. Look. Do you want the crosses or the noughts?
Noughts.
You want to be the noughts. Okay.
Away.
Okay, now look, it's my turn next, Darren. It's my turn. When you put a nought in there, look, Mummy gets to put a cross in just here. Okay, a cross right here. Now you put a nought in, Darren. Try to put it in so it makes either a straight line this way. No, wait, it's my turn. Now look, I'm going to put a cross in there so you can't make a straight line. Can you see another place to put a nought in? So it makes a straight line of noughts? No, these are my crosses. You can't have these. Put a nought in. No, these are crosses. These are Mummy's.
They're mine.
No, these are mine. You can't have these. You can't have these. Here's a nought for you. If you put it in here, that'll start making a straight line. No. Come on, I want to teach you how to play this game. Look, I'll put the nought in for you. Darren, come back. I'm playing with this toy, okay? Now, Mummy wants to teach you this game. Come on, I've got this special time now to teach you this game, and I want to teach you this game.
No.
Yes, come on. Look, let me show you what happens. If you put all the noughts in a row like that, you'd win. Isn't that great?
No.
You'd win. You don't want to play with this game,
So if you were a parenting group, I would say get your microscope out and look what's going on. What was she doing? I think she was giving quite a lot of commands to every praise. Ratio of 10 to 1, something like that. She wasn't really sensitive to his cues. What about him? Was he enjoying it? Was he bright-eyed and bushy-tailed? Was he staying on task, or was his attention drifting away? I think he sort of made a little bid, Mum, please stop this. And, of course, he was sort of doing this with her, which, if he were an angry 14-year-old, would have a slightly different result. So that's what she was doing, that's what he was doing. What do you think he was learning, if that was characteristic of most of his life? I would suggest he's learning, I'm not very good at this, I'm not much good, I can't please my mum. And then what is she feeling? Ungrateful little brat. Probably is genetic, he's a so-and-so, and so is his dad. So at a group, we would get things out in a parenting group, and the fifth question is, how could she have done it differently? When he puts this circle on his ear, does it really matter? Is that okay? And then some mothers say, real men don't do that. And somebody else in the group said, well, I've never met one yet. So we get it all out on the table, and we talk about how you could do it differently. So now let's see the mother just doing things a little bit different. Still, I think, in a game that is a bit beyond his intellectual level. She's not sensitive to it. But let's see her again now, just behaving a little bit differently. And let's watch how he reacts. I think that's...
Sometimes, if the toy or task is too advanced for the age level of the child, the experience can be very frustrating. In the next few scenes, watch what the parents do to anticipate and to avoid frustration, and still help their children learn to problem solve.
Okay. Oh, now that's a tough one. You're doing a good job. Now, how about this? Let's find another 2 more pegs. Look down here. See if it fits here, Darren. See if it fits in there. How can you make that fit? Turn it around and around. Good job. Try again, it will fit. Just try it again. Makes red on your fingers, doesn't it? Good for you. That was a hard one. Try that one on this one. It has 4 holes. In here, 4 pegs. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now that's a hard one, because this one has 3 holes. It goes right here. Good. Count the holes. You don't want to count the holes? Okay. Did we drop any on the floor?
Yeah.
Can you get them? How many holes does that one have? Look at the holes. It only has 1, doesn't it? Can you see 1 peg all by itself? Can you see 1 peg all by itself, Darren? Look, I think it goes on this one. There. Nice job. That one has 4 holes. Almost. Try 1 more. 1 more down. Try this one, Darren. That's not easy, is it? There. Last one. Try that one. Turn it around. Turn it around. And around some more. We can't make holes where there aren't any. Turn it around some more. It needs to go around one more time. You just keep trying, don't you?
So this isn't total joy, but notice the difference. Did you notice she gave quite a few praises? Good job, well done, nice little hug. Did you notice that she helped break down the task a little bit? And if we're going for honours, she predicted his emotion state. That's really hard. You keep on trying. She's acknowledging where he might be and what he might be doing, giving him the sort of emotional resilience that we want children to have. And he did it. He managed it. He stayed on task. He seems to me a boy who really wants his mother's love and attention and to help her. He went down and picked up the thing very quickly. So this is just a microcosm of different ways of bringing up children. Certainly parenting is terribly important for learning and for behaviour too. Same story, genes do matter. If you take children of parents who are alcoholic or criminal and adopt them away, they still have about 3 times the rate of antisocial behaviour and criminality. But parenting is even more important here. It promotes attachment security, that thing where they trust a parent to somebody they can come to in time of need and have a lovely hug and get wound up and go away and then explore the world, as opposed to being insecure and always worried about relationships and where are you, mum, so they can't be freed up to learn. And it affects their self-esteem. One of my heroes was Sir Michael Rutter, who's still alive, who did a study in inner London and followed kids up from 10 to 28. Those parents who were more critical about their kids, the adults aged 28 had much lower self-confidence and self-esteem by many points. So parenting does matter. We should define what it is, shouldn't we? Is it making them do your homework? Well, perhaps, but it is certainly encouraging desirable behaviour and strengths as opposed to just stopping undesirable behaviour. Stop that, Stephen, stop that. Don't do that, Stephen, stop eating so messily. Then you just... But I don't think we want our children just to be like that. We want them to grow up to be socially skilled and do things. So it sounds so Mickey Mouse, doesn't it? We need to encourage them what they do want to do. Please keep your peas on the fork, Stephen. You look positively classy when you do that. Sensitively responding to children's needs, knowing when they're upset and not, and some of them will be as they get older, or if they've been maltreated, be turning away, but getting in there at a level that works for them, rather than saying, give me a hug when they're teenage sons like mine, 16 and 18, they're going to run a mile. And finally, this is not just wishy-washy sort of 70s flowers in the hair, hang free and be loose. Limits, discipline absolutely matter. Recent study we did showing that for adolescents, whether they feel they have a trusting relationship to their parents was very much related, as well as to the sensitive responding, to the firm limit setting. They want boundaries. Actually, I see in my clinic quite a lot of kids who run wild. It's called the conduct problem clinic. It's an old-fashioned word, conduct disorder. Your school report used to say history, geography, conduct. I've got a nice report from Winston Churchill when he's age 7 at St George's in Ascot saying this boy is terrible, he's always getting into some scrape or other under conduct. So it is important to set firm limits, but not just now and then scream and shout at them, to be calm, give them consequences. What's new, I think, in the last 10 years is the knowledge of the biological effects of parenting. I think I was probably brought up when I went to university with a model of sort of the computer, really. You've got your hardware, your body, and you can program it one way, you can program it another way. Well, that's partly true, but we know that harshly parented children have raised levels of the stress hormone cortisol, and then if they're on alert all the time, and if a new stress comes in, they don't respond to it appropriately. They have elevated levels of C-reactive protein. If you go to your GP and they don't quite know what's going on, whether it's inflammation or something else, they'll draw some blood and do a C-reactive protein. It's a general response. These kids have, and this is a third of children this well parented, we're not just talking about 1 or 2% abused, have raised levels of C-reactive protein. That's associated with more heart disease, more arthritis and other things. And in the last 5 years, we know that abused children have actually got smaller brain structure in the bits that Tanya was talking about, the orbitofrontal, the prefrontal cortex, which affects how well you can have the equipment for social and cognitive function. And so that's actually the kind of structure. And then if you put them in a brain scanner, and then show them scary pictures like that and see whether they can respond to it. They do. They're very much more likely, as it makes sense in a way, to be watching out in the bit of the brain that perceives threat. Here's a picture of the brain of kids who are antisocial. Yes, of course, the way they're brought up is socially determined, but it's having biological effects. This is not while they're actually kicking somebody in southeast London where I work. This is the bit of the brain more involved with emotional processing. And it's, you can see that bit that isn't lighting up is the yellow bit, where they should be able to emotionally regulate. And this is in a scanner while we're giving them tests. So it somehow changes one's picture somehow. It's interesting, if I talk, Stephen, to politicians, and I say, it's terrible, bad parenting leads to all these bad outcomes, they say, yes, yes, yes. And then I say, it affects the brain. Well, that's serious then. It's interesting how the fact that our beautiful, lovely brains are being affected by this does seem to capture people's imagination, and we now know it does. So how do we make children grow up as failures? If we read some of the press that Tanya's been talking to us about, they'll say, you know, these little devils like that, they've got little horns, they're sort of... What is it that actually makes children grow up as failures? Well, those kids who are more antisocial is a pretty good marker. That's a behavioural marker for lots of other things. They then really become more difficult by the time they're 9 and are often neat, not in education or training. Then what else adds in? Negative parenting adds a good bit of the picture, as I've been talking about. If they're these poor kids who are restless and inattentive, which is biological, it's not just due to bad parenting, that adds. Failing at school adds to the prediction of not doing well, and hanging out in a gang. Most teenage antisocial behavior is a social activity. You do it with other people. So I wonder what you think. If you've taken your primary school in a class of 30, the 1 or 2 kids, let's say the top 5% who are the most antisocial, what are their chances of ending up in the bad? What compared with the better half of the class? If I were to do a little auction, 50%? Anybody like to raise their hand? 50%? 60%? 20? 80? Come on, let me have some hands up here, or better things. 80, okay. Anything above that? 100, 150. This is a study where things are good. This is in the South Island of New Zealand. There are sheep are the main thing you can abuse out there. The same is found in England and in the States. So violent offending, 35% instead of 3%. That's 1,000% increase. Heavy drug use, 20% as opposed to 5%. That's a 400% increase. All the things I don't think we would want for our own children or for the partners they choose when they grow up. Teenage pregnancy, not passing any exams, taking state benefits rather than being resilient and standing on their own 2 feet. This is not just one odd study. This is absolutely typical. Happened in the Inner London study. Michael Wright has now followed up people on the Isle of Wight till they're 45 and 50, and it's true. So it isn't just a rather bit of irritating, nasty brat. This is an important issue to try and get things better. What can we do about it? First of all, schools are terribly important for the cognitive bit. The EPI study, early preschool things, found that responsive stimulating nurseries get better cognitive development. Kathy Silver, a colleague, was involved in that. So, for example, she'd give the example, you can go out into the playground and say, oh, miss, my ice cream's melting. Yeah, okay. Some other school, they'd say, yes, Johnny, you leave yours out there. Mary, put yours under the tree. Let's wait 3 or 4 minutes. Come back and see if yours is melting a bit more slowly. I wonder why that could be, because the sun's got rays. Children aged 4, very interested in that, and this makes a difference, an inquiring, stimulating environment. In infancy, we know that giving mothers who've had a difficult start video interaction feedback with their infants so they can see the cues improves their sensitive responding, improves the attachment. But is it all over after infancy? Is this sort of early intervention stuff that you're done for when you're 2? Can you change parenting later on? Well, yes, you can. That is what's very good news. And I think we want children to internalize, maybe some facial recognition here, good habits so that they read during the summer when we know they lose their reading skills. So I wanted to find out if we could do this. So we went into 8 schools in South London with a thing called Supporting Parents on Kids' Education in Schools. We screened all the kids in primary school. This is reception in year 1. And we really wanted to engage them. We thought if we came along and said, hello, this is Dr. Scott, we've identified your kids, a bit antisocial, dead ringer to become a drug dealer, you know. Maybe not so engaging to get them to come into a parenting class, but if we said, gosh, this is such an exciting time, your child is learning how to learn actual cognitive, educational stuff and to get on with people. You've said they're a bit difficult, but we know that tracks right through to when they go to college or leave school. Would you like to come and join our class? 67% of the parents who could come on the day did come. So that is a huge motivation, huge. So we gave them a term of a parenting program where we teach them how to play with their kids. I mean, they'll do it anyway, but they support each other. We guide them into this good practice and setting firm limits. And then we gave them a term of how to read with your child, pause, prompting, and praising. And we have laughter. So I'm now going to show you a little clip from a group in a school in South London. This mother has two twins, actually, Nathan and Nathaniel. Nathan, as you will hear, she says, is a joy. Nathaniel is already in trouble. He nicks sweets from the little shops. They're very tempting just on the way out. It makes me want to nick them. There's lots of subtext. She is black, her partner is white, an alcoholic. She's really worried about this boy. She has done the play bit. She's now doing praising. And she's been asked, this is week 6 of a 12-week course, to do a reward chart. What would you like to improve? Everything. Well, let's just choose one thing, actually. Well, the most annoying thing is when he brings in his sneakers, his trainers. She's got, I've been to her flat, a cream carpet right by the door, so the mud goes on it. I want him to hang them up. Okay, we'll do that. He's got to do it every day. No, let's just make it 3 days out of 5. And let's have a no-cost reward or walk to the park or play with Dad or something. She wanted to take them to McDonald's. That's what she wanted. So here we are the next week saying, how did that reward chart go? Let's see if we can get that started.
Exactly. I don't shout at him no more. I don't run and rave at him no more. I will just look.
How is Nathan in his
Scary
class?
look.
Miss Milka, Nathan is a joy.
And Nathaniel is...
It's like she's going to explode every time you mention his name, isn't it? Oh, God.
That's when they get together, that's it.
Yeah.
When Nathan and Nathaniel get together, watch out.
Can I take you back to the sneakers or the trainers?
Oh, the child, yes. He's done a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
He's been putting them away. I praised him, I hugged him, I kissed him. Then he goes over and it. But he did it.
Excellent.
He done it and he goes, I don't want no stinking stars. I think I want him to draw my smiley face.
Excellent.
You know what,
So he's drawn his smiley face and he put a big smile and I said, good boy.
Well done.
Solid, I said to him. And he goes, can I go McDonald's now? This is me, I need one more star.
And how was he?
They had their McDonald's yesterday.
So he accepted the one more star. Well, listen, this is a
Miracle! Miracle! Miracle for Nathaniel to achieve something for a week.
It's a movement.
That's good. Keep on.
Now, do you understand why we said one
Yeah.
Well, actually, it's not even just the sneakers. When he put the trainers away, he also hung up his clothes. Yes!
Oh,
Excellent.
good.
Yes!
Working
Miracle, praise. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Miracle don't come close. You know?
So, of course, it's not always like that, and it's not always miraculous, but I think you can feel the warmth and passion and happiness that she has that finally this difficult boy is turning around and achieving something for a week. And notice, even though we focused only on one thing, she noticed it's already generalizing. He's hanging up his clothes as well as these things. Well, it's all very nice for me to show you a moving clip. But the question is, in the hard light of day, does it work? So this is a year after they were first seen. This is an interview of antisocial behaviour. Most of them being told, don't worry, by their GPs, and they'll grow out of it. The red bars of the group behind, they do not grow out of it, most of these kids, as we've seen. whereas the ones who came to the intervention reduced significantly on their antisocial behaviour. Their ability to concentrate on this semi-structured interview, which is carefully asking how long they do things, improved too. And the hardest test of all, is, of course, is to take them completely blind, not knowing which group they're in, and give them a reading test of their ability to read. And the ones in the turquoise bar in the foreground are those who turned up at the parenting group. Notice what a good job the teachers are doing. The dark green bars are just what the standard tough inner city school. They've gone up too, but those parents who enrolled in this program did better. Well, I thought that was probably going to be due to the fact we had a reading program as well as the behaviour program. We're just now in a trial doing a 4-arm trial, which is quite difficult, with the behaviour, the reading, both together and nothing. And it looks like just improving the behaviour is actually helping them get better at reading. So isn't that interesting? So it was said earlier, well, it's obvious that happy children learn. I was brought up in Cambridge and I saw some quite geeky, funny, clever people, so I thought you could be quite unhappy and clever. But I've actually now changed my mind in light of this evidence. By the way, this is the outcomes in change in ancestry where, according to the skill of the practitioners, the most top third, middle third, bottom third, the least effective people were having no good, possibly doing harm, which has been replicated by others. So finally, this is my last slide. Schoolwork has huge advantages to somebody like me. After parents, teachers do know their children best, and a supportive and enabling environment promote mental health, resilience and well-being is crucial. And you know the whole population. I just see those tiny fraction who come to clinics. So what do I say? If you have your devolved budget, refer and commission proven parenting programs, not just ones that John was saying earlier seem nice. Another charity has recently done a proper trial, a fair test. It's got no results. It's buried. It's not on their website or anything like that. They're not learning from it. The place to be does monitor routine outcomes. This isn't just an add-on. This is really important in life. Everybody looks at academic results. Let's look at emotional results. Don't spend money on things that just sound nice but aren't making any difference. It is skilled work. It is not just hug a child. So I think the place to be is committed to ongoing quality improvement, and they have a wraparound pupil, teacher and family offer. I feel now I've got a little apology for CAMS. We can't do all the early intervention work. We have about £40 per head per child per year. Now that's not for the whole population, but there are a lot of people slashing their wrists, as we heard from Tanya, and things. So it is hard to get in. You've got to be depressed or very violent or something else. So what was it somebody else said? More money, more money, more money. About a quarter of children with a mental health disorder get treatment at the moment. I don't think that would be acceptable if they had diabetes or asthma. I wouldn't say that if we couldn't make any difference, but we've now got terrific evidence that we can make a difference. So, and do your best to get parents on side. I see a number of parents. These are not the schools that you've all come from. In front of the program, little Johnny's been playing up again. Huge humiliation. These parents had a bad time at school, mostly themselves. They feel about that high. We coach them to say, thank you for saying that. Can we arrange a time so that you and I can work together to work out what works best for little Johnny? Of course, the parents are difficult. They may have had a bad upbringing themselves, but I'd sort of a plea to be tolerantly professional, which nearly all teachers are. Thank you.
Request for more money, but actually some evidence demonstrates that the policy is effective, and that links very directly to what one of the things Tanya said. Some evidence-based policy is often talked about, less often followed up. In Westminster we have the choice between evidence-based policy and often policy-based evidence. That was evidence-based policy, and that's what we seek to support at Place to Be.